Assalamu alaikum, Boka. You welcome back to the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel. This is the weekend recap. I'm sure you guys will notice that it came a little bit later than usual this time around. Usually it is out latest by Tuesday, and we usually target on Monday to release it, unless there is an important game happening on Monday, so that we can, capture that game as well in the weekend recap as a weekend game. But this week, it has been a bit hectic on my side. That's why I could not, I could not fulfill the recording by Tuesday. But nonetheless, there was not a lot of action also going on. I'm sure you guys noticed that most of these leagues are now currently on winter break. The Scandinavians League were already on winter break last week, and some of the other leagues have joined them in, like Austria, where Ibrahim Adabo plays. You can see him; he's in Senegal training and stuff like that. And most of the foreign players are currently in Gambia playing with their former clubs like Real de Banjul, BST Galaxy. Some of these players are training with them right now, so it means there is not a lot of teams engaged in club football at this moment. But still, there were some few players who were still in action, especially in England, in Germany, in Italy, France, Greece, Holland. There is still a lot to talk about. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into the discussion. So, today, today we start in England. We start in England, and we start in League Two. Over the course of the weekend, we saw that Stockport were in action, and they had a very, very big win. They won 8-0. And Mr. Consistency Ibutre was involved in the game, of course. Played the 90 minutes, got a couple of assists. He was later named in the team of the week, League Two team of the week. For him, I call him Duracell. Unfortunately, the Duracell battery had a fault recently in terms of injury. I mean, we saw that he missed most of the October games because of his injury. That's why he missed the international break. But prior to that, he was one of the most ever present Gambian players playing out there. And even if you look at his numbers, he played over 44 games in this year already. In 2020, so like he's always present. So. And then he's also consistent. It's not just about playing, but he's also consistent with his performances. His 2 assists this week, was his sixth in 14 league starts so far this season, which is huge. And his club, Stockport, they are at the top of the pile. They are at the top of the league in League Two, and with a big chance of getting promotion to League One. Last season, he played for Salford. He captained Salford to the playoff, and they were knocked out by Stockport, who he later joined at the start of this season. And now he's helping them. They are at the top of the table, and on course to gain promotion. It was a good week for him. And elsewhere in League Two, Wrexham, Jacob Mendy, who is also very consistent. He's direct competitor at that left back spot, who did a very good job in the absence of Ibuture during the international break. He also played 90 minutes for Wrexham. They won 2-1. They are right at the tails of Stockport, just 6 points separating them. And Wrexham have a game in hand. So if they win that game in hand, it's just 3 points between them and Stockport. It's good to see that. Wrexham are currently occupying the third spot, but the good thing is, in League Two, the first 3 teams qualify automatically to League One. So it would be nice to see both teams getting promoted. Wrexham, they just came up from the National League, and now they are taking that huge progression, and they are on course to make it up to League One as well. Jacob Mendy, ever since he came back from the World Cup qualifiers with the Gambia, he has been a different beast. Even before that, he was really, really good. He was in our team of the month last month. Was he in the back-to-back team of the month? I think so. I think he was back-to-back left back for team of the month. Jollof Football Bantaba team of the month. So he just continued where he left off. He played the full 90 minutes. They won 2-1, and yeah. That is it. But it was not a good weekend for Doncaster Rovers and Swindon Town. That is Mofal and Seydou Kane. They both lost their games. Doncaster lost 5-0. Swindon lost 3-0. Fall played about 56 minutes of that game, while Seydou Kane played 90 minutes in that game. And then we move into the championship of English football. Cardiff City were in action during the weekend. They lost the game though, 3-0 as well. But there was some positive as a Gambian to take, because Ibo Adams started his first league game of the season. That was his first league game of the season he started. Actually, that's his first start and first 90 minutes in the league for Cardiff after 1.5 years, because let's not forget, he joined Cardiff from Forest Green Rovers after he helped Forest Green Rovers gain promotion to League One. Cardiff paid the money and then brought him in. But unfortunately for him, he had a knee injury and another niggling injury. So he had a very disruptive season with injury, so he could not, participate. And this season, Cardiff pushing for promotion to the Premier League. They kind of have a settled team, so he has to work his way out and break into that team again. So he found it really difficult. So he was just living off on cameo appearance here and there, 15, 20 minutes, 5 minutes here and there, sometimes not even used. So to see him get that first 90 minutes under his belt and first 90 minutes in the championship under his belt is a good thing. It is bad that the game ended with a 3-0 loss to Cardiff, because usually coaches, when they suffer these kind of losses, they kind of react by making changes to the team. Hopefully, he will give Ibo Adams a run in the team, and that will be very good and a timely one for the Gambia national team, because we preparing for the African Cup of Nations in 4 weeks time now. So if he can rack up a few games, because from this in December, English football usually have a lot of games to play. They have their December fixtures and stuff like that. They are the busiest league when it comes to December. So hopefully Ibo Adams can get a lot of minutes, and that and he can take that into the African Cup of Nations. Because like I always say about him, he's an athlete. He's not that, that aesthetic type of player that, who dictates the game by passing the ball, moving the ball around. That is not his game. His game is more about running, covering spaces, pressing and stuff like that. So it is important for him to gain minutes. So it is good to see him get this 90 minutes. Hopefully, he will see more minutes now against the African Cup of Nations, and so that when he goes to the African Cup of Nations, he will be in a very good form, which will be very helpful for the Gambia national team. Next, we move to Germany. Bakary Jatta of HSV Hamburger. Of course, Hamburger, they have been on the fringes of making it to the Bundesliga, but almost they have fought at the final hurdle the past 2 seasons, playing playoffs, and they're getting eliminated by Bundesliga clubs. And this season too, they are occupying that third place spot, where it's very dangerous, because you have to play a team from the Bundesliga to gain promotion. They were actually at the top of the league for most of the start of the season, but then over the last 4 games they have not won. And that kind of affected them. And then, now they are at position 3. But fortunately for them, this weekend, they won 2-0. And Bakary Jatta was back to his best. He created the first goal. He assisted the first goal in their 2-0 win in the 80th minute. In the game, he completed the most dribbles in the game with 4. He completed the most tackles in the game with 4. And he was also named man of the match at the end of the game. So, yeah, he helped them, get back to that form that will help them gain the promotion. Hopefully, they will be third time lucky this time around. They will make it up to the Bundesliga, which will be which will be a great story for Hamburg. Of course, they are a massive club in Germany. They used to be at the Bundesliga, used to have some top players. But since they drop off from the Bundesliga, they have find it really hard to go back up. But they are always close to that point. Hopefully, this is the season that they will move back up. Bakary Jatta, of course, he's a player we really wish he could, he could be part of the national team setup by this time now. But unfortunately, for his own, for personal reasons, which we always respect, he cannot join the national team yet. But he is in top form. He's our boy, and we will continue to follow him and see and wish him all the best with his club in the Bundesliga. We move to Italy. Virtus Verona, CSCB's team. Another interesting player, CSCB, one of the most informed goalkeepers for Gambian goalkeepers at the moment. Last 2 months, he was the goalkeeper of the best goalkeeper, or he was in our team of the month for his performances with Virtus Verona. And it's looking like he's gonna win it this month again because not many goalkeepers are performing at this moment. So he kept a clean sheet. They won the game 2-0. Yes, they won the game 2-0. He made some good saves. I watched the highlights. He made some good saves, claimed some balls and stuff like that. Yeah, he's another player like still baffling. Do not see him get it. Do not see him in the international scene again because since the African Cup of Nations, he has been sidelined as one of those players who was making noise in Cameroon. So yeah, it's unfortunate that we might not see him. I'm not expecting to see him in the African Cup of Nations because he was not selected since the last African Cup of Nations. And to be honest, we have a problem, goalkeeping problem right now in Gambia. Because if you look at our all other goalkeeper, Toldo, he's playing in Rwanda. And we saw his performance in the past few games. It was not convincing at all. Babukar Gabe, he is a bench warmer with his club in Bulgaria. And then you look at Stek Ibrahim Ajaju, who is the best Gambian goalkeeper with the most clean sheets in 2020 in this calendar year 2023 with 15 clean sheets. He is not being considered for national team, and the other one is Lamin Sarr, who plays in Sweden, 4th division or 3rd division, stuff like that. So we have a goalkeeping problem, to be honest, going into the African Cup of Nations. Hopefully, somebody can step up and then do a good job. But CSCB is doing a great job, and he deserves for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's always about who's performing best. And those are the players I will take. And I will never change. That is my own personal take. The clubs I support, this is how I want them to be run. So it's going to be the same for my country too. I want the best for my country. And the best for my country is the best players playing at their club level to come and represent the team. And that is where I will always stand. Next, we move to Belgium, Genk. Aliou Fadera, another player who, took a lot of positive thoughts after the Gambia World Cup qualifier, a period where there was not a lot of positives, to be honest. We lost 2 games to Burundi and Ivory Coast, and then we did not perform well, But Fadera was one of those players, who left that camp with some positivity, and he has just followed that suit at his club. He's doing similar thing because since he went back to his club, he has started almost every single game. He started, I think, 4 of their 5 games he started, including the Europa League, the 2 games they played in the European Conference League, as well as the league games. We saw in midweek he got his first assist in the European Conference, and this weekend. He followed that by winning a penalty in their win. They won 4-0. He played about 77 minutes. He won the penalty, to put the icing on the cake for them. That was the 4th goal they scored. Ali Ferreira, he's picking up the form, and the club, the coach, is beginning to trust him more. Initially, when he came in, he was not really trusted, but now he's being trusted by giving more minutes in important games, So that's where he started. And it's a good thing going into the African Cup of Nations. He's one of the players that is going into the African Cup of Nations with form. And hopefully we can use him as much as possible because he showed his worth in the last qualifiers when we play against Ivory Coast. Next up is France. Grenoble, one of those clubs that already played this midweek. Like I say, this is a Wednesday recording, so it's in the middle of the midweek. We are recording the weekend recap. So yeah, but Grenoble, they played in the weekend. They won 1-0. They played in midweek. They won 3-0. Bambalai was involved in it. The first game he did not start. He came off the bench. But the weekend game, which was last night, he started the game, played about 70 minutes of that game. Won the most tackles for his club in that game. Not something that you will associate with him, but won the most tackle in the game actually. In that match, And they won back-to-back wins. They were struggling in the past, but now they are getting back to their winning ways. Sekou Touré, another player, interesting one, who missed the last 10 games because of injury. He had an injury and he was not available, but he was back for this one. He played about 20 minutes in this game. So, yeah, that's good to see Sekou Touré back again. He's also a player we will not expect to see for going to the African Cup of Nations because, we haven't seen him in the national team setup. He has been invited for a friendly which never materialized. And the coach say he likes players he already tested. And so that is why Sekou Touré is not going to be an option. And we are hearing names like Solmar, who doesn't have a club, which, I will not talk about those things for now. But let's wait until the team comes out. Then I can, I can talk more about that. I don't want to waste my energy on that for now because we know Tom. And then other in League One in France too, you have Jamano, Abla Jamano. He was in action. He played only the first half for Metz. They lost their game. So I don't know why. What was the reason for his, omission at halftime? Was it injury or was it tactical or stuff like that? But I don't know about that. And then you look at Adam Abojang. He was not involved this time around. He was not in the match day squad. We have seen him in the match day squad previously regularly, but this time around he was not involved in their match day squad. You move to Turkey. Modu Seka Baro. He also was suffering from injury in the past month or so. And he returned last week and played some 15 minutes, and then he played again this time, but they lost their game 3-1. Another interesting one is in Greece. Lamarana Jallo, a very promising player, one of those players that people really think he has the height to hit a very good level. We saw what he could do in Matar Mboch under 20 team that finished third place in Mauritania, was it? Yeah. And we saw him in the under 23s. Last season he was on loan at Sporting Lisbon. This time he went to AK Athens. He has never been involved with AEK Athens in the first team. He was usually in their second team and stuff like that. But this weekend, he was in the matchday squad. For the first time, he was named on the bench. He did not come on, but he was on the bench, which is a good step. Because if you are a player who was not even being considered for a first team option, to bring you on the bench, that is a step up. And now the next step is to get the first minutes and then try to, make your name be known, and then you take it from there. So from this, what we can say is it seems he impressed the coach in training, and then the coach rewarded him by adding him to the matchday squad. It is something we love to see, and he's a player we have high hopes for. So seeing this progression is something that we should be very, very happy with, and then hopefully he will take the next steps and move forward. In Holland, Feyenoord played this weekend. They won 4-0, but our boy Yanko Minte was not involved, and it kind of put a little bit of skepticism in my head. Because just recently we have been hearing a lot of Newcastle wanting him back to their team, because they want to recall him, because Newcastle are struggling with a lot of injuries. If you watch their games in the Premier League, you will know that they are really depleted squad. Their squad is completely depleted. They are getting injuries left, right, and center, defensively, midfield-wise, up top. They have suspensions. Very important players they are losing. And for that reason, they are considering to recall their loan option. And Lenko Minte is one of those players they have been talking about. Even the coach, Eddie Howe, has been talking about Yanko Minte, about the plans and what they want to do. Yanko Minte was there in the last international break. He traveled to Newcastle, then have a chat with the club and stuff like that. So I don't know if that is why Feyenoord now kind of, putting their foot off the gas when it comes to Yanko Minte. Since he returned from his injury, he has only started one game. Even though he came on and scored in the Champions League last time, and this weekend he was not even substituted on. He was on the bench for the whole game. So it put something in my head. What is happening? Is it because Feyenoord now they feel they have, it's a lost cause for them? They're not Newcastle are gonna get their player back, and they don't wanna, they wanna focus on the players that they will have with the future, which is understandable if a club is thinking like that. But as Gambians, it is not helping us, because this is our star boy. This is a player we want to be seeing every week. I love talking about him myself. If he's not playing, it's something we have to. Oh, why is he not playing? Is it because of his injury? Is not yet 100% up to the level that it's supposed to be? I don't know the answer, but it can be either of those two things. Because I can understand clubs, they do that. Like if they know they're not gonna use your services for long, they would rather work with other players that they will use for long. But also, he's coming back from a hamstring injury, and hamstring injuries can be very tricky. So maybe that is also a reason. Maybe they are trying to manage his minutes so that he does not have recurrence on his hamstring. So either things could happen. but it kind of put some skepticism in my head, and I hope they will resolve this very soon, and hopefully we will see our boy again starting for Feyenoord, playing games, running that wing, being that game changer and all whatnot we know he can be, because the African Cup of Nations is coming, guys. We don't want Yanko Aminte to be sitting on the bench doing nothing ahead of the African Cup. We want him to be playing, being in good form, putting up those numbers, those dribble numbers, those tackle numbers, working hard, and then he brings that form into the African Cup of Nations. Then, we can expect a little bit more from him in the Africa. But if he's not playing at all, and now he's on the bench, it's not going to help our cause going into the African Cup of Nations, considering we have a lot of players who are not playing. So Yanko Minde is one of those players playing at the highest level. So we want him to be playing, and that should help the national team. So that is just my concern. But hopefully they will resolve it soon. And you go to Switzerland, Ibrahim Akoli, he was back on the bench. He played 17 minutes for Young Boys against Lausanne. They won 3-1. Janko Sedi was suspended for that one because of his red card he got against Lausanne in the previous fixture about 3 games ago. You go to Slovenia, Bamba Suso, he scored a very important goal for his club, NK Alumni, and they won 1-0 because they have been languishing at the bottom of the table. So that win kind of moved them to 8th place, and there are 12 teams in the league, so at least they have some breathing space and to avoid that relegation spot. He was one of the Gambian players who scored this weekend. Not many Gambian players scored this weekend. And then you go to Algeria. There was Beck, Lamin Diallo. We know him. He was also part of the African Cup of Nations team in Cameroon last time out. He scored for his club CR Belouizdad in Algeria. They drew the game 1-1. He actually scored a brace. The other goal was disallowed for offside, which was nowhere near offside. If you see that goal, you know that was not an offside. It was just a bad call from the linesman. There was no VAR to overturn the decision, so it was unfortunate for Beck not to get his brace in that game. And finally, we talk about the player we have not been talking about, and a player I really love. Another player I really adore and love. That is Bobb. Bobb made a move this weekend. It was in the weekend. It's in the week. This week, I would say, Bobb made a move to Kaukap in Morocco. Kaukap is the team that Mamadou Bojang, former under-20 striker and under-23 striker, who also he was on loan at Hibernian in Scotland. Last season he was playing for Real de Banjul, scored some crucial goal, helped them win the title in the GFF League. Bobb is going to join them on a 2.5 years deal. I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, Bobb has made a very good move or stuff like this, because that's not he's trying to find his way back. Bobb, let's not forget, he has been without a club for for more than a year now, which is, you have to start from somewhere at the end of the day. And hopefully this could be a stepping stone for him. Of course, we want to see him at higher level. We want to see him playing in Europe, in proper leagues. After the African Cup of Nations last time, I think going into the African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, actually for me, he was the player I really liked, and I was really happy with the performance he did in Cameroon. He was the best player, one of the best players for the Gambia in that competition. After that competition, he was very much respected throughout the country. I'm sure when the Gambia was going into the African Cup of Nations, he was not the player we will say, oh, okay, Bobb, he can do this. Maybe some people were concerned why is he even in the team and stuff like that. But he showed his worth. He was one of the best players in the tournament for Gambia. And I can remember fully well that assist that he gave to Musa Barrow. That Gambi, the Guinean people, Gambi, it was his pass that led to that goal. And one of the best goals, I'm not just saying this because I'm a Gambian, but that was one of the best goals in the African Cup of Nations, actually, because of the build-up leading up to that goal, how Gambia scored that goal. And Bobb was very much involved in it. He started the build-up, build it up, and then he was also involved in the midway through the build-up, and he was also the one who made the final pass. So actually the pass started, what was it? Baboucarr Gueye, the first throw was to Bobb. He threw the ball to Bobb. So Baboucarr Gueye claimed the ball, goalkeeper, and then threw the ball to Bobb. So he started the play, and then he ended the pass. He received the first pass, and then he made the final pass. So yeah, he's a top player. I'm happy for him making this move to Kaukap in Morocco. But yeah, it is not the most exciting one, but I hope that this is the step he will take and then move to better things, because he deserves better things. He's a top player, a top professional. I know him. I talk to him. sometimes, and he's a very, very good, I hope this is the stepping stone for him. I'm very happy for him. So we are wishing him all the best in his move to Cow Cup. So hopefully this will work out for him, and he will move on to better things, guys. That was what we have for you guys. That was the weekend recap this week. Not a lot to buttress on, not a lot to talk about, not many goals to talk about. Only Beck and Suso scoring for their respective clubs, and also we had a few assists back at the Jata. Ibu Toure, they got assists, and then Ali Fadera won a penalty. But other than that, there was not much. CSCB, we need to give him a shout out. Kept a clean sheet. Those things doesn't happen every week. So yeah, some decent performance here and there. Let's see how it goes this midweek. If there are some interesting things, maybe I will do the midweek recap again. I will do a midweek recap to cover that. But if there is not much, maybe I will just leave it until next week and do the weekend recap, guys. This is what I have for you guys. This was the weekend recap of Gambia foreign-based players. If you enjoyed that, guys, please give us a thumbs up. And if you are new around the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And watch out for more on the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel. We do a lot of stuff, guys. The GFF League update will come. The GFF League recap will come. There is the Kudu Classic podcast. If you like Fantasy Premier League, we do that. And the Gambia Football Show will come over the course of the weekend. And also there is the campaign space on Twitter where, we have a chat on Gambian pertaining issues and stuff like that. So yeah. Please, if you have not followed the Jollof Football Bantaba on other platforms as well, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we are everywhere. Follow us because we have programs going on, and we are trying to keep everybody informed and trying to help Gambian football move to the next level. That's all we are here for. And if you want to help us in this journey to promote Gambian football, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you follow us on our socials. Until we come your way again, guys. Goodbye, guys. Ciao.